Hey folks, Dust here with another episode of Behind the Play. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about attacking the A bomb site on DDoS 2. Admittedly, that probably seems quite simple and basic, and maybe not worthy of a video in your opinion since it's very common stuff, but I figured I would just kind of cover the basics very briefly, but really focus in on adding a third route to attacking the A bomb site. Obviously, you can attack short A or cat. Obviously, you can attack long A. There's so many different variations of each, which I'll cover very briefly, but there has been the addition of adding a third route, so to speak, to your A attack, which is essentially either using the CT spawn or using kind of that slope from CT spawn to the A ramp as a third route, and using different smokes and flashes to be able to kind of create that route and just add another angle of attack, which can definitely be very beneficial in countering an opper who is watching the cat cross, which is a very common position now in the CT meta. So we're going to take a look at some of these basics as well as getting into how you can add a third route to your A attack. So we'll kind of start out with the basics here on attacking A on Dust 2. Obviously, one approach is just getting a really strong long attack, as I'm just going to kind of throw some of the nades that you sometimes see. Usually, sometimes this corner is smoked to allow you to kind of come out a bit better and just play around the edge of the smoke. And obviously, you're always just constantly flooding flashes over and just trying to establish long control. If you have a little bit more time, you can actually throw another smoke that's a bit more consistent on the corner, which is the one I just threw, just getting in the corner of those boxes and throwing it on that corner of that flap. But then obviously, like I said, just pouring flashes out and getting out and long is certainly one approach here with any number of players, just to get control. And then you have a lot of options from here to attack into long, or maybe get a player inside pit. Obviously, smoking off the cross is huge. I think I probably missed that, though, because I was kind of throwing it through another smoke, so I didn't really have good vision. Yeah. A little bit of a gap there, but you get kind of the basic gist, is trying to get, crossed into the site with any number of players, and obviously you do this in combination with players also coming up the catwalk, and this is just, basic long A stuff here. Obviously there's probably a lot more nades I could show you that are a bit better, but this is just some of the basics on taking long. Now, obviously, we can talk a little bit about the basics of taking cat as well. Obviously, doing quick cats, throwing up a smoke right there that I just threw gives you a little bit of cover as you work your way up the catwalk. Of course, also there's many smokes you can throw just in the mid-double doors or ones that land on top of Xbox. Once again, just giving you some cover to actually get some players up catwalk without being spotted by, maybe someone opping or something like that. And then, of course, you might get a teammate to flash you up cat, or you can kind of throw a little bit of a self-flash to what I just threw, which is actually pretty powerful. And then you start clearing cat. And then from here, once again, the options are kind of limitless on the numbers you can send across and the things that you might like to do. For instance, I see some people, just throwing a smoke like this one just to cross a player to quad. And then once you have a player quad, you can then begin to attack from quad and cat and just kind of have some different options on today's site. Or you can drop down to CT spawn and clear it out, which is what I see some teams do. Like I know Adren likes to run this strat actually with Liquid and some of his former teams. But what I want to talk about today specifically is adding a third route to your attack. Now, this can be done, first off, by smoking off the site and attacking into cat and planning for cat. And then you add a third route by, kind of popping a smoke down here and dropping a player down, as I kind of showed. And you've probably seen Envious run a tactic similar to this with just smoking out the site and planning and going back to cat. I think Hatton Games kind of did a video showing Nip running a similar tactic to that. So, definitely another way to attack cat there. But then adding the third route, basically those smokes I just threw in combination with the smoke I'm about to throw here, you just jump and throw this smoke, and it blocks off CT spawn vision, the rotators. So now you can actually drop down with those side smokes and actually attack into cat. And I'm going to show you a video example of this from a match. I've seen it used a lot, but I'll show you one specific one I saw recently on how it was used and how it was effective. So here's actually a clip from a match between Vox Imanor and Liquid. As you can see them using that flash to clear up cat initially to actually chase a Dren down who had the op there. And he will be falling back. And here is that smoke I was talking about. They throw it a little bit differently than I did, but it's the same basic concept. Getting smokes on the site and then also throwing a third smoke that will allow for that third route. At the front, you can see one drop down and chase. That is going to be AZ or AZR who is able to get the kill onto a Dren. And like I said, this just adds a third route to your attack. on the A bomb site. You can see them planning for Cat, and with that, then falling back and catching these rotators Cat, and that's how they're going to secure the round. So this is just, like I said, adding a third route to your A attack, which opens up a lot more options and causes the CTs a lot more things to worry about, especially that Opper who's pre-scoped in on Cat. If you can get dropped down on him, you can catch him so easily, and it's just a really cool way to enter into the A bomb site. But I am going to show you another third route that I've been seeing used as well in Dust 2 here in just a second. So here's another way to do a third route attack on the A-bomb site, and this is a clip of Liquid playing Elevate in the ESWC USA qualifiers, but I've also seen Vox Imanor run this strat at Gfinity Spring Masters 2, and apparently Virtus Pro has run a tactic like this according to Adren and talking with him. And you can just see that smoke that's thrown towards B to allow Liege to kind of peek out in the CT spawn without being spotted by any B players. And he's also going to throw a smoke into CT spawn, kind of like a mid to B type smoke. But then he'll creep through the smoke, and then he just adds a third route into attacking A via the CT spawn. Now there's several different ways he could have done that. Maybe he doesn't smoke CT spawn, he just uses that smoke behind him to run into CT spawn. But either way, it's just another option to add a third route to your A attacks on Dust 2 that we've been seeing recently. So there you have it. Essentially in this video I just wanted to cover a little bit about the basics of attacking the A-bomb set on Dust 2, which, like I said, is probably quite familiar with everyone and not necessarily video worthy. But what I did think was a bit important to put some emphasis on is what we're now kind of seeing teams do on adding a third route to their A-bomb site attacks. Now, the first example I showed you where teams kind of smoke CT spawn from Cat and just kind of drop a player off of Cat and run up the slope, that has been around for some time, though I don't know if it's really been emphasized in the video. However, the second example I showed you, the example of Elige kind of using that smoke behind him to cover B while he kind of slips into CT spawn, that is something that is relatively new. I think the first time I actually saw it used was when Vox Imanor used it at the Gfinity Spring Masters 2, and from what I understand, Adren from Liquid said that when he was playing Virtus Pro in some scrims on Dust 2 and he was boot camping for that event, he noticed Virtus Pro running that tactic, so he's not sure if maybe VP kind of ran it first or if Vox Imanor noticed it as well in scrims with VP and came up with it, or if VP got it from Vox. Who knows really how this originated, but it is a slightly new twist on adding a third route to Dust 2, so I just wanted to kind of show both examples so far that we've seen to add third routes onto your A-bomb side attack. Now, even Anders has kind of theory crafted ways that you can maybe throw smokes inside the B doors and the B window to block off B players that are playing inside the B site and use that to attack CT spawn and maybe add a third route to your A hits as well. That's certainly very possible. I think that what Elige kind of did and what you saw Liquid use in that particular tactic and what you've seen Vox do in the past, it's just a bit safer because it also kind of covers maybe if someone's slightly outside the B-bomb site, like behind the box or something like that. Either way, I just think that adding a third route to your A attacks on Dust 2 is very cool. I think it's something that can easily be implemented even for like amateur teams and things like that, and it could definitely just add a new angle of an attack, a new approach. It's always cool to see a third route added to your attacks, which is why Connector on Mirage or Highway on Cache can be so powerful on T-sides, which is why some of those maps can be a bit T-sided at times, is because you're adding new angles of attack and a new way to, eliminate rotations and just a new approach to the site that's kind of fresh. So yeah, hopefully you found this video useful. If you do, please do follow and subscribe. I'll definitely have some more stuff coming out soon. Other than that, thanks for tuning in and see you next time.